The other one, and this is another one that I think is legit a area of concern. Linebackers in secondary, other than Denzel Ward. So take us through what you see there.
Well, when I'm watching the quarterbacks and stuff, you're going to see here. So they do a really nice job in man coverage, but in man coverage you get beat. You can see a nice throw from Gabriel to Thrash there, back corner. You're going to see a nice route here by Fannin, another good throw. And basically, the thing that worries you with the Browns defense at times is because they get so much pressure, the ball has to come out fast from the quarterback. And when the ball has to come out fast, a lot of times that can be backs and tight ends, and that can be guys being covered by linebackers or safeties. And you see sometimes that these backs who are super talented, the Kamaras, these guys who can play almost receiver and running back, they give those guys fits because those linebackers and safeties aren't covering every part of practice, right? They got to tackle, they got run fits, they got other stuff to do. So that would be the key. Can these backup guys, besides Ward, can the entire secondary, now that Emerson's out, can the entire second half of that defense, right? The linebackers, secondary safeties, can they cover in man against these really skilled guys of their opponents? I think that's a crucial part of their defense because if they can get the second 10, then the quarterback has to hold a little bit longer. Receivers have to run deeper routes. Then that defensive line gets home. They don't win first down and they throw the ball against these backers. It could be tough days for the Browns defense just because so talented and it's tough to cover these skill guys in the NFL.
What about the single high safety that we've been looking for? Have you seen progress from anybody that has been playing that? And they need to turn the ball over. This secondary needs to turn the ball over, especially if the defensive line is getting after it like we've seen them in the preseason.
Well, it's going to come down. The guy I really liked, he's on the practice squad, Edmonds. I thought he did a great job. But, Kazie's a guy. You got Jenkins. Both guys have been really good down in the red zone. Both been very physical. You've had Hickman has been kind of the guy down in the box, replacing, when Emerson got hurt and Newsom went outside. Hickman's kind of been that nickel back in the box. I could see him continuing to do that. I think Miles Harden's the guy who can play outside. And then, I've actually fairly been impressed, even though I love him down in the box. Delpit's a playmaker. And if you allow him to just be a playmaker, I think he could have some success at that second level. I don't think he'll be as successful as he's down in the box. But with the injury to Newsom, I thought Hickman made great strides last year. And he was doing really well before the Emerson injury. But that's a position that has to be watched, right? Is it going to be? I think it comes down to Kazie and Jenkins, and with Hickman being the nickel, maybe Hickman if they're in three linebacker look, Hickman will be that guy. But that'll be absolutely something to watch on the 7th to see what the rotation is, especially when they go nickel personnel.
Can you see them playing Delpit as a high safety? I think he played that against the Bengals because he was physical enough to match up with T. Higgins.
Well, I've always been, it's kind of, like everybody else, I kind of get in that mindset where, he's down in the box, he's down in the box. And I've said that to you probably 50 times in the last 3 years. However, one thing we always agree on is that Grant Delpit's a playmaker. And Grant Delpit, like Matthew and a lot of these guys, that are elite college players and come in, especially the LSU kind of guys, they're football players. And to say that Delpit, if he got more work back there and you just tell him to kind of be like, go get the ball and go make big plays, he might be able to do that just because he's a really good football player and he has a great nose for the football. He did it. He's done it a bunch in camp, especially since the Emerson injury. I think they've rotated a lot of guys just so they don't get caught. And if somebody's not playing well, they can rotate other guys in. But yeah, I'm starting to believe that Delpit can do it. I don't think he can do it all the time, and I think it takes away from what he does down in the box. But he's a talented football player who has a nose for the football.